Who's Dylan? I referred you to Dylan, my boy. He's the best housing guy in the world, best realtor on the planet. Like, oh shit, no, I never got back to that guy. He never called me. Well, now you've got this guy who has this horrible experience and it's all your fault, and your friend thinks you're an idiot because you didn't follow up. No, right? So you have to follow up. So who here wants my gold star for the day? Who knows? The average real estate lead converts after the All right, cool. So now that people are more or less, we got a good handful of people logged in and on video and audio. And it is helpful if you can put your audio or your video on, that's helpful. Keep yourself muted unless you want to talk so we don't hear background noise and random stuff like that. And let's go ahead and start out with some wins for the week. Who had a win this week that they are willing to share? Something good that happened. Can be a deal you got accepted. It can be something non-real estate related as well.
I'm about to go under contract as soon as my client signs this stupid document.
Well, they better hurry up.
Oh, they'll be all right.
No, it just sold. I just got a call. It's already sold.
In Worcester, Mass. You're getting calls about Worcester, Mass. You're an international man of mystery, John, eh?
Bro, you have no idea. Hamong already told me that he swooped it up. I know he's in the market himself. So.
Oh yeah, not in Worcester, he ain't.
He bought it for himself. I hear it's a real high price point. He won the lotto.
I wish it was that high price point.
I don't know anything about Worcester. I don't even know how to say it.
You don't want to know anything about Worcester.
Worcester.
It's actually phonetically is spelled Worcester.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce.
Worcester. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, worst. You guys don't know what you're doing over there. But in California, everything is like, jalapeno and junipero. Is that right? We have all these weird Spanish names that people can't pronounce. So then they come from like the Midwest and they're like, Cali Hermosa? What's that? Like Calle Hermosa? Yeah. Anyway, fun. Who else has a win?
I finally got a listing that I've had out for the signature. Finally got it back yesterday. That's been out for like 2 weeks. So got that back. So I was relieved.
Yeah, that's extremely exciting. So you had it out for signature for 2 weeks and they finally clicked the button?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The sellers are older. They just went into like an assisted living. So their son is kind of taking over all that for them. So it's just, logistics.
We talked about that. And yeah, you just hit that send reminder button on DocuSign like every day praying that it's going to come in. Cause like it's hard when you have a deal and you have a deal, but you don't contractually know you have a deal and you just never know. Even the most honest people that 100% like, they're going to sign, like sometimes they screw you over, so you never know.
Yeah, especially when I was there looking at the property, one of the daughter-in-laws was like, I kept telling them to sell by owner, and I'm like, sign that document.
Lock it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk about that too, right? We've gone over before with some of you regarding our tiered commission schedule and how they can. So you always want to kind of put them at ease, because the greatest fear that most sellers have is that the realtor is going to come over and put the sign in the middle of the yard, and then the next door neighbor is going to be like, "Oh my God, you're selling! I would have bought it from you. I would have paid $100,000 over market, and we didn't have to do it with a realtor and all this stuff." And so, while that's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen, it helps assuage their fear. If you say, look, if you want to sell it to the neighbor and you want to do all the paperwork and assume all the liability and you're like a crazy cowboy, like, cool. If you sign the listing and if you do that, it's zero. Like, just tell me you don't want to do it. You don't need my help or whatever. And you sell to the neighbor and I don't get a commission. And then if you want me involved, I'll do the paperwork and the liability and all that for 2%. And if I find the buyer and, I bring a buyer directly, we'll do it for 4%. And assuming another agent brings the buyer, which is pretty much what always happens, then we do it for 6%. right? And so it's 0, 2, 4, and 6. And what happens is 20% of the time you get 4%. The rest of the time you get the 6%. And 1 out of 100, you do it for 2%. And the 0 never happens. Never, ever, ever. All right. What do you guys want to talk about today? What are your burning desires? What questions do you want to make sure we cover? What topics, themes? How can I help you today?
So, John, here, good afternoon. My name is David. It's the first time joined your class. And can you explain me? I'm a little confused. What am I doing here, actually?
Yeah, absolutely. So, did you go to college, David?
Yeah, not the college is a lie. It's a Zoom by meeting. Yes, I didn't get my real estate license,
No,
and
it's
I was passing the courses. Yeah.
The reason I asked the question is because this is a little bit like office hours, right? So I'm here for an
Yes.
hour every Wednesday, and I'm here to coach and help you guys with anything you need. So that can be, I want to learn more about doing a buyer consultation. It can be, hey, how do you convert people at an open house? It can be, hey, what are great scripts to, call my database right now and generate referrals? Literally anything you guys want to talk about, I want to talk about. Here to answer questions. And then if we exhaust that, or you guys don't have anything awesome for me, I will do my best to fill in what I think you should know and give you some interesting dialogue and things that are going on in real estate, some things about EXP that are going on that you might not know about, etc. And if none of that works, or we get through all of that, then we get to go home early. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. Based on the experience that I had in car business, when you're working for the company, they already have a customer. They're coming in. Then after a few months, they give you some leads. Then you can follow up to get the customer. My question is, how can I start it? Where can I start it? How can I get the customer off? And then the next step, I know is a fresh customer is gonna be really scared because might be you lose it. You don't want to lose it, and what's the step by step, how can I close to the customer? It might be the like very to the job that I am right now, but gonna be a little different. I want to learn everything.
I love it. Well, you're fresh, so this is good, and we will never be able to teach you everything you need to know about real estate in 5 minutes.
Oh, come on.
But we're right on track. So yeah, we'll
Okay,
definitely
great.
talk about that today. I think kind of what you're talking about is like, what are the opportunities, kind of like a car business, where when you're brand new, the brand new guy comes in on Saturday nights, right? Or Friday nights, and he
Yeah.
stands in front of the lot and he prays that the guy who wants to buy a car today is going to come on and buy the car, right? And we have
Yeah,
versions
you're right.
in real estate. They're not exactly the same, but there's some similarities. So I'll talk about that.
All
And
right.
then we can talk a little bit more about what that workflow looks like, right? How do you take, what
Okay.
opportunity can you go to get brand new clients? And then what kind of funnel or process can you put them through to continue to move them forward? Because the difference is, the primary difference between car sales and real estate sales is the timeline. Real estate has a
Yes.
30 to 90 to 2-year cycle, depending on the type of lead that you're working. And so, you would
Yeah.
probably never meet somebody on the car lot and sell them a car 2 years later, right? That would probably never happen. Maybe a
Yeah.
different car, maybe a second.
And then the connection only with you one time in a week, or no? If I have a question, I can call you or email you. How can I contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my contact info, I'll put in the chat box, and you guys can reach out to me anytime you want. There's my cell phone number. I would give you my email, but I won't check it, so don't email me. The best way to get on my calendar
Okay.
is to book an appointment with Justin to have a one-on-one with me. Ideally, if it's not urgent, you would do it in this format on the call. So
Got
awesome.
it.
What
Got
else?
it.
What else can we make sure we cover today for everybody else? What other questions? Yeah, Dylan, you had something.
A few weeks ago, you talked about doing a real estate version of 75 Hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe actually and us as a team, we actually came up with a 75 Hard for us to do.
That's not what I heard.
Yeah, well, Joe came up with it.
What I heard
And
is you guys were and you couldn't put one together, so Joe had to make one up for you.
Okay, sure. If that's what we want to believe, that's what we
That's
can
what I was
believe. But
told.
that's not what exactly happened.
Joe's not here, so
Joe's not here, so I'm not going to speak for him. But
Actually, I
uh,
can confirm that that kind of is what happened. I just got off the phone with Joe. I talked to him more than you do.
yeah, okay, whatever.
really,
Anyway,
what
but
do you
anyway, well, anyway, so I'm the only one on the team right now that's doing the 75 hard. Um,
want?
but I wanted to one challenge that I like right away was like I need to figure this out is how I can number one, how I can text people in my sphere and be like, hey, I realized I don't have like and try and get their address without sounding like super creepy. And number two, what kind of note card, like what kind of notes I can write that also don't sound like super creepy. And I wanna like offer real estate but not and be like, hey, I'm in real estate, but not be like, give me your business right now and be salesy like that either.
Are you willing to shave your beard?
And no.
It would help. It'd make you less creepy. No, I'm just kidding. Uh,
I know I've shaved my beard. These guys have seen on the team. I look way worse.
I'm just joking. All right. So yeah, that's really good. So to engage with your sphere, to collect data that you don't have, that you're looking to be able to then communicate with them, right? So I can't send you a handwritten note if I don't have your address, right? And
Right.
if I get your address, then I do have to send you something because it'd be weird if I asked for it and then I didn't send something. And then what do I send and what does it say? And you don't want to make it salesy. So awesome. I will definitely get to that in a minute. Let's see if anybody else has anything else just to kind of get it all out there. And then we'll start addressing some of those things. Anyone else have something they want to share? Yeah, Julie, what's up?
I'm trying to think of a way to do a marketing letter around instead of I have a buyer letter because I know everybody's doing those right now. To a I don't have a buyer's letter, but if you let me list your house, I will bring you a buyer. You will get a buyer in this market. So something, obviously I can't say that, but something to that lines, like I'm not going to tell you I have a buyer if I don't have a buyer, but off of that.
I appreciate you not lying to anyone. What are you thinking? You want to mail this, or how are you going to be
probably mail in my neighborhood, in my community where I'm at? We have a lot of vacation type homes, second type homes where I'm at. So I'm thinking of maybe hitting, the vacant or those type of owners.
The best thing that works with that scenario is to hit people up and say, your home may be worth more than you think. And to say, this is, I'm sure you've checked your estimate, and your Redfin value. Frequently those are wrong. Did you know your neighbor just sold with 9 offers for 100,000 over asking? So I would go to the MLS and I would print out or take screenshots of all of the nearby properties that have just blown out of the water, just the craziness. I would call the agent. I would ask them the details. How many offers did you get? I would circle the days on market where it sold in like 3 days. I would indicate how high it went above asking and all that stuff. And then I would send it. And I would do exactly what you just did. I would title it, I don't have a buyer. Okay. And then I'd put in there, and this is just my idea. You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
I would
that's what I want.
Do something to differentiate yourself, but I would do it as like, I bet you're getting hit up by a lot of real estate agents claiming to have a buyer. I'm not like that. I honestly don't have a buyer for your house right now, but I do live in the neighborhood and I do care about the home values. And I'm a great professional, and here's some references and whatever you can do to put the whole thing together. That's kind of cool. Okay. And then I might also include, right, if you're going to send it to out of area people, a big thing you have to solve for people when you're talking out of area investment properties is they don't want to pay the taxes. Mm-hmm. And then they know the market's tight and they're worried that they're going to not find a replacement property. And then they're going to be exposed to pay the taxes. So there's all these things that go into that, right? That muddle their mind, right? A big one is their tenants. Like their tenants are already in place. So you could say, hey, I have some creative ideas for you. Number one, we might be able to sell with your tenants in place. Right now, this market is the best market for doing that because buyers are desperate. They'll take anything they can get. Number two, I actually think you've undervalued the property significantly. Right now, we're seeing a demand for interim housing and vacation rentals that is much, much higher than we've ever seen before. So you might be able to tell them that you could help them furnish their property. Maybe it's not furnished. When their lease is up, I'll help you furnish it. We'll rent it monthly. We're not going to do weeklies. We're not going to get crazy with Airbnb and do nightlies and all that stuff.
Mhm.
We'll do it monthly, but the monthly is going to be probably double to triple what you're already getting. And it's going to be worth it. And I'm going to help you do it all. I'll show you how. I'll give you examples of what it all looks like, right? Option 3, if you don't want to sell it furnished or with the tenant in it, or you don't want to rent it out, and you can go back and look. A really great way to find sellers is to go back in the MLS a year ago and find properties that were leased.
Oh.
So go find properties that were leased in January of last year,
Okay.
or December of 2 years ago, or November of 2 years ago, right? Properties that were that are 12 to 18 months ago that were leased, because generally that 1 year lease has just expired or is about to expire.
Okay.
So you can do those for February properties too, right? And even March. So
Okay.
properties that were leased last March, you reach out to those homeowners and you say, hey, I know you leased your property last March. Your lease is probably coming up. Have you considered cashing out your equity and moving it somewhere else to a better performing asset? Or have you considered this vacation, short-term, interim housing situation, whatever, right? Those are all good solutions. The last one is to partner with an Exp agent. I just saw today the announcement, Phoenix is the hottest market in the country. So for appreciation, for rents, for all the factors put together, Phoenix is the place you want to go. Now, of course, that's going to get priced out, but for now, it's not. And so, I would probably network with a couple agents in Phoenix or Scottsdale or wherever in that area, Gilbert, Chandler, whatever, and get a few real life examples of properties out there.
Mhm.
And say, hey, you want to sell this one for $2 million and go buy this 10 unit, thing right by the college in Arizona? Or do you want to buy this, Paradise Valley mansion? Or do you want to buy, 4 $500,000 houses in Arizona, right? Which are going to, and then show them what like the numbers would look like. What's the math? What's the rent on it? Like flip them into something that's more exciting, right? People grow into the conversations you create around them. And so it's really important that you give them the opportunity to see that this logically makes sense, right? Get their wheels to start turning.
Mhm.
That's when they'll call you.
Okay.
And
I
then,
like it.
and then ideally in any of those scenarios, give them enough to see everything, but don't give them all of it, right? Leave out some key thing that they need to hit you up for, and then always have a call to action. So the world's worst, just so you guys know, if you're ever sending stuff to anyone ever, the worst call to action on the planet is for more information, call. Nobody wants more information.
Yeah.
That is the worst call to action. You'll never get bait with that. The best call to action is going to be like, call me today to find out exactly how much you can rent your property for if we do this short-term rental version, right? Call me today to find out exactly what the cash flow would look like on your investment in Arizona, right? Something that's specific, that's tied to something that they want. And so it's that missing piece of information that you tie the call to action to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Those are great things. Thank you.
All right. Any other ones before we move back to Dylan and David? Yeah. Sahaj Paul.
Hi. Hey, I just joined today. This is my first time over here.
Welcome.
Nice to see you guys, everybody. And I don't know how to start this thing, but like I think David mentioned, what's the steps to take to bring the customer first time? Is marketing is the first thing to do, or is what's the best way to start a real estate?
It's a great question. So what we recommend, and I know my hat says EXP Realty really clearly, but we didn't write a book on real estate. Keller Williams did. So I'm going to recommend you read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, written by Keller Williams, Gary Keller, Dave Jenks, and Jay Papasan. Yeah, you got it on your desk. So read that like 5 times. That is the best way to build a real estate business. That's not a book. It's not a beach read. It's a business plan. So, it's not sexy. It's literally chapter by chapter on exactly how to build your real estate business. So follow it. You can get creative. You can do everything else. You don't ever have to read the book. But the bottom line is that book is gold. I've read that book like 25 times. It's everything. Now, past that, right? You read the book and everything else. Well, you really come in, the book talks about 2 different ways to build your real estate business. One is going to be prospecting and one is going to be marketing. And what the book says, when they originally wrote it, it said that you want to be marketing based and prospecting enhanced. What they've come to revise it to today is that you actually want to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, for all of you, the real reason that applies is I don't want you spending money you haven't made. So, if you came to me and you said, hey, Jon, I'm rich. I have $1 million in the bank. I don't need to work. I'm doing real estate as a hobby. Or if you said, hey, I came from a Fortune 500 company. I had 400 employees. I've got a big bank account and I want to invest some money. We would have a totally different conversation, right? That is a very unique conversation for somebody who wants to ramp up a real estate business. Most people don't fall into that category. Most people want to grow organically. The second reason that they advocate that you be prospecting based is prospecting is a 2-way conversation. So if you're not prospecting, then you don't know the flavor of the market. You don't know the objections you're hearing from people. You don't know what's going on in the brains of the people that you're trying to get in front of. So how can you design proper marketing if you're not prospecting to be one-on-one with those conversations? So what I would recommend is only reinvest marketing dollars out of sales that you earn. So don't spend any money until you've made money, and then treat it like a business. So say, you know what, from every closing, I'm going to take my $10,000 check and I'm going to put 5% into EXP stock at a 10% discount. That's going to be the first thing that gets paid, right? I'm going to opt into the agent equity program and I'm going to do that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20% of what's left and I'm going to put that aside for taxes. And then I'm going to take 30% of that and I'm going to reinvest it into the business. And I'm going to take what's left. And that's going to be what I pay myself. And that's what I'm going to live off of, right? So if you don't have the percentages allocated prior to closing a deal, what you're likely to do is close a deal and then take all 10,000 and go shopping or pay your bills or whatever. And then you have no money to reinvest, or you take all 10,000 and you reinvest it into the business and you have no money to live off of. And then the taxes come around and you don't have tax money and now you're in the hole and it's just this horrible cycle, right? So that's really, really critical. Past all of that, what I would recommend, or what I always recommend, is start with your database. So your database are the people who know you, like you, and trust you. You need to have 150 people in your database. It's 150 minimum, okay? If it's 200, that's awesome. If it's 250, that's better, right? It needs to be to 250 as soon as humanly possible. But honestly, you can't even get started with less than 150. Like if you don't know 150 people, you need to go outdoors. You probably need some more exercise. I advocate like buying food and doing things, because your database is like your dentist. I went to the dentist today. Your dentist, the clerk at the grocery store that you talk to every week when you go, your doctor, the guy who cuts your hair, right? Like everybody in your life, anyone you spend money on should be in your database. And then you contact all those people. And so scripts for engaging your database. So we'll just switch over to Dylan, right? So now Dylan wants to call his database. So you can't call your database and you can't call somebody you haven't talked to in 5 years and then like, hey, I want to get some business. So Dylan might have to make this a multi-pronged approach, right? Because there's going to be people in his database that he talked to last week. And there's going to be people in his database that he talked to last month. And then there's going to be people in his database that he hasn't talked to in 5 years because he's a bad friend. Those people all get treated differently. If I talked to you last week, I know what's going on in your life. I can go right into asking you for business. Well, guess what? Those people are probably the people that are not going to refer Dylan to anybody, because he talked to him last week. If they were going to refer anybody, they already would have. They already know about his business. They already would tell you that they're an advocate for him, even though they're not, right? Well, that's fine. Then the month ago people, right? Maybe they're a good prospect, right? Maybe there's somebody we want to ask for, but really it's more these lost relationships that we want to reinvigorate, right? So the first pass through is you just go through every single person and you ask them about their life. So how's your family? How's work? right? What are you doing for fun? We like to ask, what's your favorite thing to watch on Netflix? Or what's one thing you're looking forward to? There's a lot of cool questions that you can ask, and you want to develop the power of asking great questions. Asking great questions is like 99% of life. So if you can just learn to ask great questions and shut your mouth, you'll be much, much more successful at everything you do, especially marriage. All right. Then you ask them about their dreams, right? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What's your goal this year? So how many people on the call, raise your hand, if anyone, who here has been asked in the last 2 months, what's your goal for the year, or what's your dream? About half the call, right? And now go ahead, raise your hands again. Now keep your hands raised. And now keep your hand up if it was someone other than your coach or the person you're on the real estate team with. Yeah, exactly. So not many people ask these questions, right? And so if you call a database of 100 people and you ask them about their goal or their dream, I guarantee you 95 of them will not have been asked that question before by anyone. Now you're not just like a friend, you're not just someone checking in, like you're somebody who really cares. And if people share their dreams and their goals with you, now you understand what's important to them. Now, guess what? That kind of gives you permission to share your goals and dreams with them. And so one of the things I like to do is be like, hey, you know, I use a worksheet that helps me plan my goals every year. I break it into 5 categories. I break it into family. I break it into travel. I break it into work. I break it into giving back, right? We have these categories. You can make your categories whatever you want. And then I say, hey, would you like me to send you a copy of this worksheet? It really helps simplify your goals. Because what you'll find is most people are like, what do you mean goals? Like, I don't have any goals. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, real estate goals? Like, what? I don't know. My goal is to not die from COVID. Like, literally, like this is the kind of response you'll get. And so if you help them plan their goals, then you can insert yourself into the accomplishment of their goals or to help them achieve them. And that's going to land really hard for you. So you've contacted everybody, you've asked them about their family and their work and all this stuff. You've talked to them about goals. Nothing about you, right, Dylan? We're not talking about us. Now, a week later, 2 weeks later, or tomorrow, it doesn't really matter. You circle back with them, and that's when you hit them up. And the script that you use to capture database information is the easiest script in the entire world. Dylan, you ready for a little live chat? You want to chew your food and we'll do it? You can be my guinea pig. I'll let you finish.
I love being your guinea pig.
All right, he's there. Ring ring. Hey Dylan, how's it going, man?
Good, you?
Doing excellent. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I know we just talked. I'll keep this super quick. I'm just at work right now and I'm going through my database. I want to make sure I have all the correct contact information for you. Is your address still? Oh, I actually don't have your address. What's the best address for you?
Yeah, Lawrence.
Okay, perfect. Blah blah. And then I got you on this number. Are there any other phone numbers I should have for you, or is this the only one?
This is the best one.
Okay, perfect. And your wife, is she still at 555-1212?
No, we divorced.
Oh shit, man! No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Are we celebrating or are we sad?
Pop the champagne, baby. She was
Yeah, let's go. When you want to go to Vegas, buddy? I'm down. We do divorce party proper, man. I'll make sure to hook you up. In fact, you send me a referral this year, I'll take you on the PJ. We'll go private out there. We won't even, I mean, I would fly on the PJ, but I'm short a couple of deals. Anyway, so while I have you, best email. It's still over at Playboy at AOL.com.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. We'll hit you on the AOL email, and I shouldn't contact that wife of yours, right? She's out of the picture. We're not friends with her anymore.
I mean, that's up to you, man. I don't control you.
No, I know, but I mean, is it amicable? Are you guys still friendly? Should I make sure we don't invite you to the same client appreciation party, or what's the deal?
Hey, I don't care if you talk to her. Just don't invite me to the same place.
Yeah, all right, perfect. We'll keep you guys at separate ends of the football field. I'll put her at the 50-yard line seats. We'll put you down in the end zone. How's that?
I appreciate that.
You don't want to go to a Patriots game anyway. They're garbage.
Patriots versus Bucks. Let's go.
All right. So, So you can get it, right? That's a really easy, really quick script, and I can do it really fast, and I keep it fun, right? This is real, right? I want to really engage with the people that I'm on the phone with. Like Dylan, right? Dylan's really a friend of mine. He's really somebody in my database, and I'm going to treat him that way because that's me. Like, I'm fun. I like to joke around with people. Like, I would really say everything I just said to Dylan, I would really say to a client. That doesn't mean that has to be the script for you. You want to be yourself, but you do need to hit those main points. Hey, Dylan, how's it going? I'm at work right now. I'm going to keep this really quick. I was going through my database and I just realized that I don't have your address at all. Oh gosh, I know I got you on this number. Are there any other numbers I should call you on? Is that AOL email address still the best email for you? Awesome. And just to clarify, Dylan, if I'm sending you something that's like a treat or like a baked good, is that the best address for that? Or is that like a work address where they're going to eat it before you get to it? Right? Because a lot of times that'll be the thing, is like, that's not a good address to send the cookies or the whatever to, right? The popcorn basket or whatever it is, right? And ideally you want them all. And then you're like, hey, thanks so much. And maybe you have their address and you're just verifying it. Maybe you obviously have their phone number. If you're only friends with them on Facebook, you can use Facebook Messenger to call them. So one thing we don't believe in is we do not play by rules that do not exist. So a lot of times people are like, yeah, I don't have their phone number. I can't call them. Well, guess what? See that button right there, that little phone button for Julie Mansfield? Hi, Julie. That's call. If I press that, you know what happens? Julie's phone rings. See, it's ringing. That's a phone call. Can you believe it?
So, John, can I ask you something on that though? Like,
yeah.
If you don't typically talk to that person, or like you just went from, it seemed like you were in the haven't talked to you in 5 years category. So you just went from haven't talked to you in 5 years to what's your address to hit them up on Facebook Messenger.
It was, I haven't talked in 5 years, the first call. The second call was, hey, I know we just talked yesterday. I'm at work now, and I just wanted to update my database to make sure I have the right info for you. And then Dylan's going to be like, I feel weird sending something to their house. I don't want to send a thing or whatever. Easiest script in the entire world. Hey, Dylan, if I had a little something I wanted to pop in the mail for you, what would be the best address to send that to you? Anybody on this planet ever been like, no, don't send me a little something in the mail? Now, there are people who are really weird about gifts, and there are people who really hate getting gifts. I'm not advocating sending them a big gift. It could be something cool, right? Go find something that is a little item of value. It's not expensive. You can buy 100 or 200 or 300 of them. It fits in an envelope, and you can send it to everybody, right? It could be like a baseball card. It could be a lotto ticket scratcher. It could be, a lotto scratcher. Yeah, Bo Jackson. Hell yeah, you send me Bo Jackson baseball card. I am thrilled, man. That would be super cool. But it can be a scratcher. Hey, just want to let you know, I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world to be, friends with you. Or I'm sure lucky that you're looking out for me and helping me build my business this year. Thanks so much for sending me a 3-way message anytime you run into somebody who's looking to buy or sell. And now that part right there, like pause, stop the entire show. That's the only thing that matters. If you don't train them to send a 3-way text message when they have a referral, this will not work. You will never get any referrals. You will never close any deals. The only way you will ever get referrals and close deals is if you train them constantly, repeatedly, to send you a 3-way text message.
Can I ask something about that?
Yeah.
So I actually had that happen. I had a client that I'm working with now who had sent me a referral, and he did it via text, group text, me, him, and the other person. Yeah. I almost immediately shot back a text saying, hey, nice to meet you. When's the best time to set up a phone call so that we can kind of so I can introduce myself and see how I can help you? And he didn't respond. Is there what's kind of the follow-up procedure after that? Is it just kind of like leave it?
Either person responded?
No.
Okay, cool. So did you call him?
No. I'm trying not to be a creep, man. I'm trying not to be weird, but I guess that makes sense.
You were introduced, right?
Right.
Who's weird, him or you?
Him.
Right. Because you were introduced by a mutual friend. Like,
Okay.
show of hands, anyone think this other dude's a dick? Right? Like, what's the problem? You won't, like, you can tell me no, you can say no, thank you, I don't want to talk to you, whatever, but to just like, your friend is like, hey, you got to talk to Dylan, he's a great agent. Dylan's like, hey, super nice to meet you, when can we hop on the phone? And then it's like crickets. Now here's the
Okay.
deal, he's probably not a jerk, he was probably just busy, and he probably
Okay.
read it at the wrong time, and he probably wants to work with you. But you know what happened? You never called him,
Right.
and now you know who he's working with?
Someone else.
That guy on Zillow. He just pressed the button on Zillow, and now he's with the dingus who sucks, doesn't care about him. Now he's going to close a, watch what happens. This is even worse, okay? You want to talk about who's the asshole here? You're the asshole. I'll tell you why. Because here's what's going to happen, right? He's going to click the button. He's going to talk to the person on Zillow. It's going to be some bozo. They're going to show him the house. He's going to end up paying $40,000 over asking or some nonsense. It's not going to be a good transaction. It's not going to go well. All these other things. Then him and your friend are going to be hanging out. He's going to be like, dude, I had the worst experience. Yeah. He's going to be like, you buy your house yet? Yeah, I closed, man. It was a nightmare. $40,000 over asking. Worst deal ever. Horrible home inspection. Blah, blah, blah. Every horror story in the world. Meanwhile, your friend's like, like terrified, right? He's like, oh my God, this is awful. I can't believe Dylan screwed this guy over. And then he's gonna be like, yeah, man, that was horrible. I can't, was that with Dylan? He's gonna be like, who's Dylan? I referred you to Dylan, my boy. He's the best housing guy in the world, best realtor on the planet. Like, oh shit, no, I never got back to that guy. He never called me. Well, now you've got this guy who has this horrible experience and it's all your fault. And your friend thinks you're an idiot because you didn't follow up. No, right? So you have to follow up. So who here wants my gold star for the day? Who knows? The average real estate lead converts after the, what number attempt? All right, Julie's got 8. What's
8.
Dan got?
4.
10, 4, 5, 8. Nobody's getting a gold star today. It's 13.
85.
It's 13. It's the 13th attempt. So how many people follow up 13 times? None of you. I just know that, right? None of you. And so we have a thing, and you car guys might appreciate this, but till they buy or die, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. You're going to hear from me forever. One of 3 things will happen. You will die, you will buy with me, or you will tell me to fuck off. That's okay. Please, I need to know. Let me off the hook. Tell me you don't like my hat. Tell me you want to work with an old dude. Tell me you only work with hot chicks. Like, I don't really care. Just tell me what the deal is. Why are we not working together? Right? So that's a big part of it for sure, Dylan, is you gotta follow up. Now, what would I do? I would call. If they don't answer, who here would leave a message? Raise your hand. Okay. Who here would not leave a message? Raise your hand. Just me. Cool. And Erin won't raise her hand no matter what. She's the 1% that won't raise her hand no matter what. No, I'm just teasing you, Erin. She raised her hand. I like it. She's the only one who knows how to use the emojis. That's cool. So the reason that I would not raise my leave a voicemail is because if I leave a voicemail and they don't call back, what happens? Starts to look a little weird, right?
Starting to get a little creepy there.
Starts to get a little creepy. If I leave you a voicemail and you don't respond and then I call you again, now I'm starting to be a little weird. But if I don't leave a voicemail, well, guess what? Now you might be curious. If you're not a real estate agent, you might not get very many phone calls. You might return your missed calls. Like, I used to return all my missed calls. Obviously, I can't do that anymore, but a lot of people will. Like, hey, I just missed a call from you. Hey, yeah, it's Dylan. Just wanted to get in touch. Mark referred us. How's it going? Right? So I won't leave a voicemail. If they don't call me back, I'll shoot them another text. Say, hey, just wanted to follow up on this. I'm sure you're busy. Just take 5 minutes. That's another really important thing is when you're first trying to make contact, you need to set a time expectation. Nobody wants to be on the phone with Dylan, the weird realtor, for like 4 hours. Nobody wants to go to lunch with Dylan. They don't even know you, like none of that. It's, hey, when can we jump on a 2-minute call so we can see what the next best step is? That's all you have to tell.
John, I think he has to make sure he has a right phone number. Might be the phone number is not right.
That's definitely possible. So that's what I'll do. So I'll text them right away. I'll put a time limit on it and say, hey, when can we hop on a 2-minute call to see what the best next steps are? Thanks again so much for introducing us, Mark. Really appreciate you. You're the man. By the way, saw the, too bad about those Patriots or whatever, right? Sometimes I'll throw in a little bit of banter between me and the guy who referred us so that they can see that we really are homies, right? Like there really is a connection there. This isn't some rando. So I'll group text a little bit of that, and then I'll try and get them on the line. If they don't tell me a time to call or whatever, then I'll just call and say, hey, I'm sure you're busy. Mark just recommended us, da-da-da. If they don't pick up, I don't answer. I text them again the following day. If they don't get me back on that, then I'll follow up with the referral source. And I'll say, hey, just wanted to let you know I've reached out to Jim 4 times and I haven't heard anything. Right? And then he'll be like, oh, let me work on him for you. These people, if they take the time to send a 3-way group message, they really want you to get this deal. They really want to help you. And so if you just tell them like, hey, your boneheaded brother won't get back to me, a lot of times they'll be like, dude, I'll call him right now. Here, hold on. I'll 3-way call him in right now. And then they call him and then he picks up and they're like, dude, why didn't you get back to Dylan? I just introduced you guys. Like, that's super rude. He's a cool guy. He's going to help you. Like, oh, and 99% of the time, the reason that leads don't respond to you is because they're not ready. They only want to talk, right? Let's talk about it. Walk into Nordstrom, walk through the doors, you got your mask on, right? You go through the doors, you get 10 feet in the door. The first salesperson who sees you walks up to you and asks, how you doing? And you're like, good. They're like, can I help you with anything? And your immediate response is, no, thanks. I'm just looking, right? David, first person on the lot. They always tell the first guy, what? No, thanks. I'm just looking. I'm just browsing, right? Everyone's just browsing. Well, that's not true. David knows you don't step on the lot unless you're here to buy a car.
Let me show you what do we have.
Yeah, let me show you, right? Let me show you a few things. I know you're just browsing. Let me walk you around. Let me babysit you a little bit. Let me make a couple suggestions. Well, now this is where you get your time to shine, right? Now, let them browse a little, right? Let their timeline warm up a little, because in the car business, it's 15 minutes to take 1 lap around the lot. In the real estate business, it's 30 days to finally talk to a lender to figure out what your budget is, right? So we need to have a follow-up system that can follow them for longer than a day, longer than a week, longer than a month. If you don't have a 13 to 25 touch campaign built out ahead of time, how the hell are you going to follow up with them 13 to 25 times if that's what it takes? What we don't want to do is we don't want to be the kid at the junior high dance. Okay, this is the kid at the junior high dance. You want to dance? No? How about now? You want to dance? You want to dance? You want to dance? You can't just keep hitting them up with the same question. That's not working, right? So it has to be, do you want to dance? You want to go get some punch, right? There has to be a variety. And so have a housing report, have an item of value. Dylan, they don't respond to me for 5 days. You know what I'm going to hit them up with? Hey, you want a list of all the open houses for this weekend? Happy to send you a list of all the open houses this weekend. Hey, you want a list of all the off-market opportunities? Guess what? No buyer has ever said no to a list of off-market opportunities. And then everyone's like, oh no, there are no off-market opportunities. Clear cooperation. We don't do that anymore. Well, sure we do. Go get the old expireds. Call up the top 5 realtors in that market and ask them what properties they have coming up, and get a pen and paper and write it down really fast. There are always off-market opportunities. We just don't put them on Facebook anymore, right? So maybe you be proactive and you go do that, right? There's a million different things. Is that helpful, Dylan, to kind of give you an idea of like?
Yeah, everything today's been super helpful. Thank you.
Okay. And then in the note, what you say in the note is you just say, like, you put the lotto scratcher in and you say, I'm just so lucky to have somebody like you in my life. And it doesn't have to be long. The biggest tip The biggest problem people have with handwritten notes is they can't write. They have no handwriting. They're right like me. Like
I've been writing my notes beforehand, writing a draft, and then like going super slow, making sure my letters are
All
good.
right, Dylan, this one's worth the price of admission. I'm going to teach you right now how to do handwritten notes. So there's a couple hacks. Number one, you can pay a service to do it for you. Number two, you can pay a kid to do it for you, or like a high school student or whatever. Number three, you can use send out cards. Number four, this is for Dylan. Number four is the real one. Get a nice big note card, right? A fold in half or a cool one, get a nice card stock. Like the whole experience matters, right? So it's worth spending a little extra money in this department, in my opinion. You don't have to. If you don't have a budget, literally anything works. But if you can get something a little nicer, that helps. And then get a chunky ass Sharpie. Get one of those big old Sharpies, right? Not the fine tipped one, get the fatty. Write your note in a big ass Sharpie. Your lettering is going to be huge. It's going to take up the whole thing. You'll barely be able to fit 2 sentences on that bad boy. And guess what? You don't have shit to say anyway. So you don't want to put a little fine tip pen that you write this long thing on, right? Because you're never going to be able to fill that space. It's going to look weird. You don't want to write these big scrawling things in your handwriting with a tiny little pen. Just get a big pen and you'll see that it works really well. And then start paying attention to people who send you notes. Start saving them, right? Everybody saves them. So if you send a note to somebody that says, I'm so lucky to have somebody like you in my life. Thanks so much for thinking of me when you hear of somebody buying or selling or something. You don't even have to put the buying or selling thing. But if you do, then what do? They save it and they put it, right? They take a push pin and they stick it on their bulletin board right in front of their computer. And they look at it all the time because they're like, man, that was so nice of Dylan to send that to me, man. That's the only handwritten note I got all year.
Is it too passive aggressive to include your business card?
Do not include your business card.
Okay.
Do not include your business card. You look like a shithead. Business cards are trash. Save them for the trash. Honestly, I don't use business cards for that very reason. Nobody wants your business card. Have you ever been given a business card you didn't ask for, that you didn't really want?
Yeah, I threw them all away.
Yeah, what'd you do with it? You put it in your pocket, right? The first thing we do with a business card that we don't want, we don't offend anyone. We never say, oh no, I don't want your business card. We say, oh, thanks, but we didn't ask for it. Now, have you ever been at a party and you met somebody super interesting and you really wanted to follow up with them and you asked them, you were like, do you have a card? They were like, yeah, I got one left, right? And they hand it to you. What do you do with that card? Nobody? I know what I do.
Put it in your pocket.
I take a picture of it right away so I don't lose it. Because it's so valuable to me, because I really care, right? I just met this like neurophysicist who's going to save the world, or I just met the world's best car dealer, or I just met the guy that's got the bomb hookup on the weed, or whatever, right? Like whatever it is, whatever matters to you, when you find someone who can fill that void, that's the card you keep. So the trick here, if you're going to use business cards, is you have to be that guy first. Just giving someone a card is just going to go in the trash. It's all garbage. So the best thing to do, which I've taught you guys before, is when you're having a good conversation with somebody, then you just go, hey, what's the best number to reach you on? And then you just look down at your phone until they answer. If you look at your phone long enough, they will give you their phone number. No matter what, every single time. Works on women at a bar too. They might give you a fake phone number if you're at a bar with women and you're really annoying, especially if you've got one of these beards these guys are rocking, but they will fill that void because it is human nature.
Shut your mouth, John.
I know, I'm sorry. I can't grow one, so that's why I talk.
Yeah, exactly.
People who talk shit are the ones who can't grow one.
Of course.
We all know.
We all know that.
I grew mine at 13.
That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, man. So that's the trick, right? Is get their phone number so you can follow up with them. And then when you follow up with them, make sure you have an item of value. Don't just follow up with people for the sake of it, right? That's nonsense. Follow up with people with some value so that you can help them figure out what they want and then fill that gap. And that might not be real estate. A lot of people that you're going to be talking to, they have no need for anything real estate related whatsoever, right? Most of the people, so I think Keller Williams just came out with a stat. 95% of the US population is not thinking about buying or selling. 5% is. We're focusing on the 5%. That's wrong. Focus on the 95% of people, provide value to them, and you will find the 5%. Because guess what? Everyone knows someone who's buying or selling real estate. In fact, everyone knows multiple people. The problem is twofold. Number one, they don't trust you. Or number two, they don't know how to refer you properly. So they just give your card to someone. So if you've ever done this, don't do this ever again. Hey, take a stack of cards and you give it to somebody and they're like, hey, I'm going to pass these out for you. And the problem with that is they're going to pass them out for you, but nobody's ever going to call you because nobody's ever gotten a card and be like, oh, cool, can't wait to talk to a salesperson. Not how the world works. Helpful? All right. What other questions do you guys have before we wrap up? And then,
Hey, John, question. If you don't know too many people, like you mentioned, you should have 150 people in your database. How you build it up? Like myself, I don't know 150 people.
I bet you do. You might. So I'll tell you. You start with a pen and a paper. So the first step is you take a pen and a paper and you write down the name of every single person you know off the top of your head. The reason I start there is that the people you can remember off the top of your head are the best people. They're the people that you're most closely tied to, the people that you have the best relationship with. Then you set a timer for 10 minutes, and you go get as many people you can out of your phone. The reason I set the timer for 10 minutes is because all work expands to fill the time allowed. So if you give yourself 10 hours or 10 years, you'll never pull the people out. And if you just dump everybody out of your phone, sure, you can dump everybody out of your phone, but you're going to get all the randoms. You're going to get the guy that you don't even remember how he's in your phone, why he's in your phone. You're going to get like 6 people from your wife's contacts and all that stuff. And there is a place for them. It's later. Okay. So set the timer. So first, brain dump. You have 5 minutes to write down everybody you have. Then you have 10 minutes to use everybody on your phone. Then you have 15 minutes to use your Facebook account. Then give yourself another 30 minutes or an hour to dump everything out of your phone and start going through it one by one. And try and get to 100 or 150. Once you've exhausted everything, then when you're done with all that, get a memory jogger exercise. So if you go on Google and you look for database memory jogger, I bet you anything that you will find that. And what that will pull up is a sheet of paper that has things like accountant, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, drug dealer, elephant wrangler, Guantanamo Bay prison guard. Like, I don't know, I can't do all the letters, but it will have all the letters broken down by occupation, right? And so every single one of those is somebody you likely know. If I say accountant, you know an accountant, don't you? Yeah. If I said barber, you know a barber, you get your hair done, everybody gets their hair cut, right? So those memory joggers will help you fill in the gaps. And then the last thing you do is you start making friends out of strangers. And that's my favorite one. So Julie, how have you been doing? Have you been doing your homework, or are you a bad example for me to call on right now?
I'm a bad example.
That's not good. So it works if you work it. Julie is a C student apparently, or worse, because she's not doing her homework. D student maybe. But I have a system that my coach teaches to make friends out of internet strangers. So what you would do, Sahajpal, what do you like to do for fun?
I do photography and play tennis.
You like tennis, perfect.
Right.
So you could go on Facebook and join some tennis groups, and you could start to interact with people and meet people who like tennis. They might be national groups. If you go in the national group, you can actually see who in that national group is local to you, and you can send them friend requests. You can go in a local tennis group and you can send them all friend requests. Now, what you don't do is you don't go in and first of all, your profile has to look right. So you have to fix your profile first. So they'll accept your friend request. The second thing you have to do, and it should say, like, if you're going after tennis people, the thing there should be like looking to meet new people who are into tennis, or, I love tennis, or a quote from John McEnroe or whatever, right? It should be something that ties it in. Then you send the request, then they accept it. You build up your friends that way. And then you start to converse and you interact with their profile. So they post something and, just had my best match ever, won, in straight sets. And then you're like, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, whatever. And then you do that a few times. And then they comment on some of your stuff. Next thing you know, you guys are on a private message and you're like, hey, I saw your post about the You want to play tennis this weekend? I'd love to, I'm looking for somebody to play with, whatever. Now you're turning it from strangers to friends to, right? There's a whole workflow. So you take it from internet stranger all the way down the line to like real life friend. And then we're not looking for 2,000. I mean, yes, we are, but we're not looking for 2,000 right away. You can win the world. If you have 250 people who love you, you can conquer the world. Jesus changed the world with 12. 12. That's real. That's not a made up nonsense thing. That's real. Jesus changed the entire world with 12 people. So
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
John, I have a question. I saw there is a recording button over there.
Yes, sir.
And did you record your class now, and I can access and repeat it and listen to it again?
Yes, sir. Everything is available on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is the 4 Aces Nation. If you have a question, how to get it, Justin can get you the link to the YouTube channel. So we edit these into a more concise format, and then we put them on YouTube. So it should be available. Or we can send you the direct link.
I really appreciate you send me the direct link. And also,
all of the other content is on there too. So that's why you should go to our YouTube channel, because there is we just started it like 2 weeks ago, and there's already like 25 or 30 hours of content all geared toward helping real estate professionals. So if you guys want to go big.
And then
go ahead.
Sure. And the book you told us regarding the find the prospect and market, what was the book name?
I just put in the chat, Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's also called the Red Book. It's the Real Estate Bible.
Red Book.
Yep. All right. Give me a couple.
Thank you.
What did you guys learn today?
I think what we learned is to make sure you have a contacts, at least 150. If not, you can make it more. And also you have to follow up. Even the person doesn't give you call back or doesn't text you or anything, just make sure you bug him as much as you can, so he will piss off and give you the number.
Yep.
I learned how to not be a creep.
I love it.
Yeah, same here. Build your own database and make sure not to leave a voicemail.
Awesome. I'm glad you were listening, Maria.
Yes.
For me to not leave a voicemail, but I've been doing that. And then also the number of times of follow-up.
And sometimes if I'm leaving a voicemail, just because I'm not going to say never leave a voicemail, like just depends on you. Sometimes if I'm leaving a voicemail, I'll just be like, hey, it's John, give me a call as soon as you can. No, like which John or like whatever, right? Just like, hey,
details.
Super quick, right? And then they'll call because they're curious. They're like, wait, what the hell is going on? I need to know. Like it was super brief, super direct. Like I want to know. The other thing we'll do, if somebody ever really screws you over, you just call them late at night and get into their voicemail, because you can slide dial them, go straight to their voicemail. You just leave them this voicemail. Hey, this is Mike. I got in a fight with my dad and I'm just having a really hard time. And I was really hoping you'd pick up. I gotta go. And then you just hang up and you don't even say anything, because everybody knows somebody named Mike, and everybody's gonna feel horrible when they get that voicemail in the morning. So that's only for people who totally screw you over. But if that person didn't sign the contract, that's a really good way to get back at them. No offense. Any other ahas? No? All right, this was fun. Aaron, you got one? No? Yes? No?
Yeah, I still think we need business cards for, I don't know what happened to my face. I'm sorry. I'm learning this Zoom this is the first time my iPad's done that, but you still need business cards for open houses when we start doing them again, right? Don't you still need to leave your card at properties?
Leave open houses for other realtors?
Yeah, when we need to have our business cards there. Well, that's just the old way to do it. So to hand them out to people.
Sometimes you need a business card to get into a gate. Sometimes you need your realtor card. Yes, occasionally having business cards is a good thing to like have them available in case you need them. Leaving your business card behind for a showing where you use a lockbox is the dumbest thing on the planet because the lockbox records everybody who comes in and out of the house. So I don't understand that at all. Old realtors, like 65 plus, the ones who like to tell you that they've been in the real estate business for 30 years, they get really offended if you don't have a business card. I don't care about them being offended that I don't have a card. That's not their problem or my problem. Yes, I've had clients get pissed off that I didn't have a card before. I don't really give a shit. I run my business the way I want to run it. So it just depends. But yeah, having business cards isn't the devil. The thing I do with my business cards is I make sure I have something on there that relates to EXP, because the chances are I'm probably giving my business card to another realtor. And if I'm giving my card to another realtor, I would love it if 1 out of 100 got curious and went to the EXP website and said they want to talk more about the opportunity at EXP. Honestly, other than that, I don't really care, because I only care about things that make me money or ways that I can help people. So if it can't make me money and I'm not helping someone, then it's really not on my list.
Okay.
My 2 cents.
And another quick question I had, do you guys use Tommy Corbett for title?
Yeah, we use Tommy. I actually like Jeremy Smith, but you can use whoever you want.
Jeremy Smith, the one that's not the same guy at First Team, is it?
He's not in-house anywhere.
Oh, okay.
No,
there's a realtor with the name like that too, I think.
Oh, okay. No, he's with Tycor, young guy, really nice.
Oh, okay.
He just came to our office. I'll introduce you to him.
Okay.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want to share or ahas that you learned this week?
Thank you for the book recommendation, Jen.
You're welcome. You'll love that book. Read the book, learn everything it says. Just don't go to KW, come to EXP. All right, guys. It was fantastic today. I'm really glad you could. We will be here next week. So feel free to pop back on next Wednesday. See you guys.